It all starts, as so many peculiar things do in the world of Greek myth, with a rather unusual family. Before we can truly appreciate the magnificent, slobbering terror that is Cerberus, we must first meet his parents. His mother was Echidna, a creature who was half stunningly beautiful nymph and half monstrous speckled serpent. A truly unsettling combination, I'm sure you'll agree. His father was the equally formidable Typhon, a gigantic, fire-breathing monster so vast that his head brushed the stars. From this union of primordial chaos and serpentine horror sprang a litter of truly remarkable offspring, each more terrifying than the last. Cerberus was just one of these little darlings, brother to the likes of the Lernaean Hydra and the Chimera. You can just imagine the family gatherings, can't you? A real nightmare. So out of this monstrous lineage came our subject, Cerberus. He wasn't your average tail-wagging, stick-fetching sort of dog. Oh no, from the very beginning he was destined for a role of immense importance, a cosmic responsibility that required a unique set of skills. While his siblings went off to terrorize the mortal world, each becoming a fearsome challenge for some future hero, Cerberus was given a specific, rather gloomy posting. He was to be the official guardian, the bouncer, if you will, for the realm of the Underworld. This wasn't a job for the faint of heart, or indeed for any creature with fewer than 3 heads. His master, the solemn and powerful god Hades, needed a watchdog of unparalleled ferocity and loyalty. Cerberus's appearance was the stuff of nightmares, perfectly designed to strike fear into the hearts of both the living and the dead. Most accounts agree that he possessed 3 heads, each with a set of razor-sharp teeth and eyes that glowed like embers in the dark. These heads could bark with the force of a thunderclap, a cacophony of sound that echoed through the bleak caverns of the underworld. But the horror didn't stop there. Some poets, never ones to skimp on gruesome details, added a serpent for a tail, a writhing, hissing appendage that could strike with venomous fangs. To top it all off, a mane of living snakes often writhed and coiled around his neck, making him a truly formidable and slithering spectacle of dread. This monstrous form wasn't just for show, it served a vital purpose. The 3 heads were said to represent different aspects of time, the past, the present, and the future, a fitting symbol for a creature guarding the eternal realm of the dead. Each head could act independently, allowing Cerberus to be ever vigilant, watching in all directions at once. There was no sneaking past this particular guard dog. His very presence was a statement, a clear and unambiguous message from Hades to all who approached his kingdom. This is a one-way street. Once you enter the realm of the dead, there is no turning back. His ferocious nature was not born of malice, but of duty. He was the ultimate loyal servant. The home of Cerberus was as grim as his appearance. He stood guard at the gates of the Underworld, the kingdom ruled by the god Hades. This wasn't a sunny meadow with a nice doghouse. Imagine a dark, cavernous entrance on the far misty banks of the river Styx, the waterway that separated the land of the living from the land of the dead. It was a place perpetually shrouded in gloom and sorrow, where the mournful shades of the deceased gathered to begin their final journey. It was here, amidst the chilling draughts and the faint whispers of lost souls, that Cerberus kept his eternal watch. He was the first and last line of defense, the unblinking sentinel of Hades' domain, ensuring the cosmic order was maintained. His job description was brutally simple and consisted of 2 main rules. The first was to allow all the souls of the dead to pass through the gates and enter the underworld. He was surprisingly welcoming to new arrivals. Some say he would even fawn over them, wagging his serpent tail in a grotesque parody of a happy greeting. This was a clever bit of psychological warfare, really. It offered a moment of disarming calm before the grim reality of their eternal fate set in. Once inside, the souls would be judged and sent to their final resting place, whether the blissful fields of Elysium or the torturous depths of Tartarus. Cerberus ensured they all got in without a fuss. The second, and far more crucial part of his duty was to prevent anyone from leaving. Absolutely no one. Once a soul had crossed the threshold into Hades' realm, the gates became an impassable barrier. This was Cerberus's primary function, to be the ultimate prison warden. He would transform from a welcoming beast into a creature of pure, unadulterated fury if any shade dared to attempt an escape. His 3 heads would roar, his snake mane would hiss, and his powerful claws would tear at the very stone of the threshold. He was the embodiment of the finality of death, a terrifying reminder that the journey to the underworld was strictly a one-way trip, no refunds or exchanges. This role was of paramount importance to the Greek understanding of the cosmos. The division between the living and the dead had to be absolute. If the dead could simply wander back into the world of mortals, chaos would ensue. It would unravel the natural order of things, spreading fear, pestilence, and untold disruption. Cerberus, therefore, wasn't just a monster. He was a vital pillar of cosmic stability. His relentless guard duty ensured that the boundaries were respected, that life and death remained separate and distinct. He was a force of nature as much as a mythological beast, a necessary horror who maintained the fundamental balance of the universe. He was, in his own terrifying way, a hero. Of all the tales involving our three-headed guardian, none is more famous than his unfortunate encounter with the greatest of Greek heroes, Heracles. As the 12th and final labor set for him by the cowardly king Eurystheus, Heracles was given a task deemed utterly impossible: to descend into the underworld and bring Cerberus back to the land of the living. It was a suicidal mission, a final, spiteful attempt to get rid of the hero for good. No mortal had ever entered the underworld and returned, let alone with its fearsome guardian in tow. But Heracles, being Heracles, was not one to be deterred by the mere concept of impossibility. He simply squared his broad shoulders and set off for the gates of Hades. Guided by the gods Hermes and Athena, Heracles made his perilous journey down into the gloomy depths. Upon reaching the throne of Hades, he did something rather unexpected. He asked politely. Instead of charging in and starting a fight, he respectfully requested permission to borrow Cerberus for a short while to complete his labor. Hades, perhaps amused by the hero's audacity or perhaps respecting his immense power, agreed, but on one condition. Heracles had to subdue the fearsome beast using only his bare hands. No clubs, no arrows, no lion skin armor for protection. It was to be a pure contest of brute strength between the mightiest of mortals and the most terrifying of monsters. The confrontation was epic. Heracles approached the snarling hound, who was none too pleased about the prospect of being manhandled. The beast lunged, its three heads snapping and barking, its serpent tail striking wildly. But Heracles was a force of nature in his own right. He wrapped his impossibly strong arms around the dogs' necks, squeezing with all his might. Cerberus thrashed and struggled, his roars shaking the very foundations of the underworld. But he was no match for the son of Zeus. With his windpipes constricted in the hero's unyielding grip, the great hound eventually weakened and submitted. Heracles had done it. He had overpowered the guardian of hell itself. Triumphantly, Heracles dragged the subdued and likely very confused Cerberus up from the darkness and into the sunlight. He presented the beast to King Eurystheus, who, upon seeing the slobbering, multi-headed horror from the abyss, promptly fainted, or as some versions tell it, jumped into a large storage jar to hide. The labor was complete. Heracles, being a decent sort, didn't harm Cerberus further. He dutifully returned the hound to his post at the gates of the underworld, where he resumed his guard duties, perhaps with a newfound and grudging respect for the sheer nerve of mortals. The story became a testament to Heracles' supreme power, proving he could conquer even death itself. Centuries after the temples of ancient Greece have crumbled to dust, the image of Cerberus remains powerfully embedded in our collective imagination. He is more than just a forgotten monster from a dusty old book. He has become the archetypal guardian of the forbidden. Whenever a story needs a fearsome gatekeeper, a monstrous sentinel barring the way to a place of secrets or danger, the shadow of Cerberus is there. From Dante's, where a gluttonous Cerberus tortures the souls of the damned, to the fluffy three-headed dog named Fluffy in the series, his form has been borrowed, adapted and reimagined time and time again. He is the ultimate symbol of a terrifying obstacle that must be overcome. The fascination, I believe, lies in what he represents. Cerberus is the physical embodiment of a universal human fear, the finality of death. He stands at the ultimate boundary, the point of no return. The idea of confronting such a creature, of looking into his three pairs of fiery eyes, is to confront our own mortality. The myths where heroes like Heracles or Orpheus manage to bypass him are so compelling because they represent a victory, however temporary, over death itself. They offer a glimmer of hope that the ultimate barrier is not entirely impassable, that courage, strength, or even art can challenge the inevitable. He is the lock on the final door, and we are endlessly fascinated by the keys that might open it. His monstrous form also plays a huge part in his lasting appeal. A three-headed dog is a wonderfully simple yet effective concept. It takes something familiar and comforting, a loyal dog, and twists it into something alien and horrifying. It's an idea that is instantly understandable and visually striking. This powerful imagery has made him a favorite subject for artists throughout history, from ancient vase painters to modern fantasy illustrators and video game designers. He is endlessly adaptable, capable of being portrayed as a truly demonic beast, a misunderstood creature, or even a darkly comic figure. This visual flexibility ensures that each new generation can create a Cerberus that speaks to its own anxieties and artistic sensibilities. Ultimately, Cerberus endures because he is a perfect mythological creation. He has a clear and crucial role, a terrifying and memorable appearance, and he's involved in stories that touch upon the most profound aspects of human existence. He is not just a random monster, he is a symbol of order, a challenge for heroes, and a personification of the great divide between life and death. He is the loyal servant of a dark king, the eternal prisoner of his own post, and the ultimate test of courage. As long as we tell stories about boundaries that should not be crossed and the heroes who dare to cross them, the three-headed hound of Hades will be there waiting faithfully at the gate.